provided with no additional job services, no substance abuse services, or mental health services to speak of. What a complete travesty and embarrassment. So locally, our city has had to dig in. The Garcetti administration created an Office of Reentry. They brought home $6 million from Washington, D.C. in 2015 to start LA Rise. This is a program that has already connected more than 1,000 formerly incarcerated and homeless people to employment. But we need so much more support for this work. We have soldiers living on the streets of this city who have served in Afghanistan and Iraq struggling with PTSD. Whatever your views on these two long wars, and they are among the longest wars in our nation's history, your city needs to do more for these veterans. We've now matched 10,000 veterans to jobs in this city. We've housed more than 9,000 of them since 2014. We're actually quite close to possibly ending veterans' homelessness in the city of Los Angeles. Waiting to be saved from this crisis. Our city has housed 30,000 homeless Angelinos in the last 4 years. Unfortunately, there are still more than 30,000 Angelinos on the streets without homes to match that. We all know that permanent supportive housing is what is going to get these folks off the streets once and for all. And we also all know that this is an expensive and often painstakingly slow strategy to eliminating homelessness. So we have to simultaneously serve the folks who are on the streets now. Starting this summer, your city, unfortunately, is going to be in the business of setting up emergency shelters on city-owned lot. That's not intended to be a funny topic. That's just, I couldn't say those words for some reason. So we need for the Angelinos who are living on the streets of Los Angeles to have a safe place to sleep. While we work with other nonprofits to bring 10,000 new units of voter-approved supportive housing online. We are going to be challenging everyone in LA to become even more involved in solving this crisis, and I want to close by talking to you about these issues. Because it is going to absolutely require additional sacrifice on everyone's part. Now is the time to welcome housing for low-income families into your neighborhoods. Thank you for making this such an important topic. Now is the time to call your state representatives and support new legislation that will deliver $1.5 billion to housing efforts across our state. Now is the time to increase your support for organizations like the Corporation for Supportive Housing that Maryland is involved in, the Downtown Women's Center, or any other organization that you all work with that serve the homeless on a day-to-day basis. Now is the time to educate your friends and neighbors about how to be part of the solutions too, because it's pretty simple. We cannot house our homeless neighbors without widespread support from LA residents. If you know someone who is a landlord, please encourage them to start accepting Section 8 vouchers. That way we can help get low-income people teetering on the brink of homelessness into a place that they can afford. There are people out there with government support who cannot get into housing in this city. Please help them. If you belong to a house of worship that owns a parking lot that goes unused at night, you can join this fight by opening up that parking lot to people who live in their vehicles in this city and who need a safe place to park after dark. If you are someone who wants to build or rent a granny flat on your property, do it. LA has more than 500,000 single-family homes. If we permitted accessory dwellings on just 10% of those, which is permissible, we could add 50,000 units to our housing stock in this city. That would house every single homeless person that is currently living on the streets of Los Angeles. No one can do everything, but every single person can do something to help end homelessness in our city. And I want to encourage you to visit the Mayor's Days of Compassion website, where Angelinos are organizing to make a difference on this issue. You can check it out at lamayor.org. /Days of Compassion. Let's please recommit ourselves anew to this fight tonight. This is the most extraordinary, moral, and humanitarian issue on our plate as a city here in Los Angeles. And I am encouraged by how many of you have come tonight to hear so many stories from the people who live this crisis. Thank you for being here and for your